And welcome back to the Thomas Take Sports Podcast. I am your host. Your eyes and ears are focused on me. If you're watching on YouTube, your eyes and ears are focused. If you're watching on, or if you're listening, I should say, on any audio podcasting platform, whether it be Google Podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, you name it, the Thomas Take Sports Podcast is available on all those shows. I just wrapped up an awesome guest spot with a great buddy of mine, Colt Schroeder of the Buffalo Nerd. And the Buffalo Nerd is on Buffalo Rumblings Podcast Network, and I'm really excited to get that episode out. It will be out probably tomorrow, and I'll be sure to post my guest spot on Colt's show tomorrow as that is released, or whenever that is released, which more likely than not will be tomorrow. I got a few things to say in regards to the news today that former Buffalo Bills quarterback Ryan Fitzpatrick has finally called it a career. 17 years in the National Football League. He played for 9 different teams. The question is, can I name them? Can I name them in a row? The answer to those questions, yes and yes. Ryan Fitzpatrick started his career with the St. Louis Rams. Ryan Fitzpatrick then went to the Cincinnati Bengals. From Cincy, went to Buffalo. Buffalo to Tennessee. Tennessee to Houston. Houston to the Jets. Jets to the Bucks. Bucks to the Dolphins. Dolphins to the Washington football team. And if I'm missing one, my apologies, but I'm pretty sure I hit them all. Ryan Fitzpatrick, to me, this is not recency bias. This is analysis. This is research that I have done over the course of the last 2-3 years, that Ryan Fitzpatrick's career is far better than what most think in terms of career numbers, in terms of accomplishments, regardless as to whether or not he played for 9 teams. You can say that he was a journeyman. He was. Played for 9 teams. But to me, I've always had a saying, and that saying is this: the best ability is availability. The fact that Ryan Fitzpatrick found himself in 9 different situations in which he would start a series of games is truly astonishing. Not only did he find himself in these situations to start in games, he found himself in situations to succeed, unprecedented success in these games that led him to being a starter longer than what that team had originally planned. I go to Cincinnati, Carson Palmer. Actually, I go to the Rams, Mark Bulger, Carson Palmer, Trent Edwards in Buffalo, Jake Locker in Tennessee, Geno Smith with the Jets, Tua with Miami, Jameis Winston with Tampa. And obviously the Washington football team, they didn't have a solution at the quarterback position, which is why they felt the need to go out and bring in a wily vet like Fitz. Fitz was reliable, he was available, and he gave the team that he played for his best. Whether it was his best or his worst, you knew that you were getting every ounce of his energy into a game. And that is why I would say that his career is much better than what people think. And the career numbers are much better than what you would expect. Ryan Fitzpatrick finished his career as a quarterback that I truly believe is admired by every teammate that played with him, as well as teammates that might have along the way played against him as he moved on from team to team, as they moved on from team to team. He played against a ton of great players, whether it was going up against great quarterbacks or great defensive players. Truly astonishing that Fitz had the career that he had, despite being a 7th-round draft choice out of Harvard, despite being looked at as a career backup. Fitz found his way to start for 25% of the teams as they currently stand in the National Football League. Finished his career with 223 touchdown passes against 169 interceptions, threw for 34,000 passing yards, had a 60.7 completion percentage, passer rating of 82.3, and 21 rushing touchdowns. which to me, 21 rushing touchdowns for Ryan Fitzpatrick. I did not expect to hear that many. I'm not saying Ryan Fitzpatrick was one of the great quarterbacks of his era. By no means am I saying that. But what I am saying is that oftentimes when Fitz was counted out, he would show up. 1 year in Houston, 2014, he had a down year. 17 touchdowns, 8 interceptions in 12 starts. The next year for the Jets, 16 starts. They went 10-6. Fitz threw for 31 touchdown passes. You would get hot Fitzmagic, cold Fitztragic, but it's safe to say that the best stop in his career, no doubt about it, where we really, truly were able to fear the beard, so to speak, was in Buffalo. And I know one thing very, very well, is that any player that plays for the Buffalo Bills, whether you're past, present, you are adopted into this community. And yeah, Fitz did get that huge contract in 2011, 2012, and he didn't really live up to it, and he fizzled out, and we replaced him with Kevin Cobb / EJ Manuel. Fitz went on to have, a long career after that. Mixed results, but EJ was out of the league, and soon thereafter Kevin Cobb was out of the league months thereafter, I should say. And ultimately, Fitz was just a part of former Buffalo Bills lore, former Buffalo Bills quote-unquote legend, for lack of a better term. But really what I was able to understand and realize is that Ryan Fitzpatrick meant a lot to the guys that he played with. Guys like Eric Wood, guys like Stevie Johnson, guys like Fred Jackson. Those were his 3 best friends on the Buffalo Bills, and those were his 3 best friends largely over the course of his career. Whether he was a member of the Bills or not, those guys stayed in contact with him. Those guys stayed up to date on all the things that were going on, and Ryan Fitzpatrick did so as well. When Eric Wood's career was ultimately cut short due to a neck injury, and Eric Wood had to announce his retirement far sooner than what he wanted to, who was there? Fred Jackson, Stevie Johnson, Ryan Fitzpatrick, in the facility at One Bills Drive as a member of another team as their quarterback. Who was in the crowd during the Patriots Buffalo Bills playoff game without a shirt on, cheering on the Buffalo Bills? Ryan Fitzpatrick. I rest my case. I hope that Fitz can retire for one day as a Buffalo Bill and ride off into the sunset. I know he announced his retirement through this text to Fred Jackson. The word is not quote-unquote official from Fitz, but all signs point to Fitz finally calling it a career. And what a career it was. Unprecedented success despite the limitations in his skill set. And there were a ton of limitations, but he made the best of what he had. And that is why I believe his career was far greater than you think. I'm Ryan Thomas. That was the Thomas Take Sports Podcast. The career of Ryan Fitzpatrick, greater than you think. A Buffalo Bills icon, I think. Whether it's his play on the field or his beard off of the field. We all loved ourselves some Ryan Fitzpatrick. Much luck to him in this next endeavor. I'm hearing rumblings that he could be an analyst on Thursday Night Football. I'd love to see it.